Good morning, you guys. Today is January 1st, 2026, a beginning of a new year, a beginning of a new way of thinking about God, actually, because God brought me this download yesterday, and I took the whole night of New Year's Eve of 2025 going over it, wondering why he wanted me to do it, but I know why. This is the life I chose. This is what's happening today. What I'm about to tell you today is what I've been preparing for my whole life. And I'm about to say it. People often wonder, why do I get blessed so much? Why I don't do everything, like I don't go to church or whatever anymore. I mean, even though I was born and raised in a church, Church of God in Christ, to Assembly of God, to when I got married, the first marriage, I was converted to both. I was still a Pentecostal, but I also converted in Messianic Jew. So, but all that time growing up, knowing those several different religions, and learning about the other ones as well, taught me a lot, and it also made me very, very mad. um, so this series that I'm starting to put out, it's not going to be all at once. It's going to be something to where, when the information comes to me, I'll come on and say this. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop every other video that I may have downloads of. No, those will still go on. This will be like a sort of on and off type of video, and this is part one of it. So the reason why the title is Religions Do Not Understand Who God Truly Is, because they do not. Very much, they do not understand at all. Or the way they were taught was to make sure they learned a way to where it wouldn't be right as well. So that's why I'm here to be the pioneer to change all that. My ministry, Love is the Only Ministry, is going to be followed by the belief that I truly have, that is actually true, and not what people who translated the Bible believe that is true. Because those type of people, these religions that are all around us, that have been soaking money out of everybody, from when, I guess in the olden days, it was things that you had like wheat or bread or whatever, eggs, anything they could do to have some type of power over people. Religions, I'm just going to go out and say it. Religions are not for God. Religions are for wealth. Period. Religions are for power. Religions are not the right way to live with God. It is the wrong way. I'm saying it. Yeah. Religions are the wrong way. All these religions, where they got these big churches and everything, they got them from ways that God truly did not want them to get them from. And, you got these religions to where they give you houses and all cars, and they living in luxurious, and then you got these people, that's going to church a lot of times, that are not as wealthy as the church. And the way churches has become, even back in the Roman times, when this thing was first Bible was ever translated from. Okay, let's talk about that first. The Bible. So I learned in my life that Dead Scrolls was the first Bible, which was in Hebrew. And in And also, so when I became a Messianic Jew, I also learned that the Torah, which was part of the Dead Scrolls, only had 5 books of the Bible. So you got Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, right? And then, all of a sudden, you get this King James Version. How many books of the Bible does the King James Version have compared to the Dead Scrolls that was translated from Hebrew to English? Can you guess? I counted it yesterday, and it's something I remember from a kid. 66 books of the Bible. So they have Genesis to Deuteronomy. But where did the other 61 books come from? Plus the ones they say after were hidden books that they found later. All made up. So Genesis to Deuteronomy has been translated over and over again, but the concept of Genesis to Deuteronomy was in the original Bible called the Dead Scrolls. But when it got to translate into the King James Version, there were so many extra books of the Bible made up. I mean, completely made up. To suit the rich, to suit the power, to suit everyone. Because if you notice in those other books of the Bible, they talk about how a woman should not speak up at church, how a woman's supposed to be pretty much a slave to a man and have other people have other wives and be okay with being married with, all that. What a woman should not do. and then, yeah, it's ridiculous. So, Genesis to Deuteronomy still have been translated over and over again to suit them, and added on 61 more books of the Bible that never existed before King James Version. That is a fact, a complete fact. So, I'm here to tell you, even knowing that truth, that means there's something messed up in that situation when it comes to religions thinking that they truly know God when they pretty much made up most of it. God, I've God is really different from what you guys believe he is, because I know him. He's my father, so there's a lot of things that people feel God is that are only parts of him. See, God is the creator of the universe. He created everyone, everything, every thought in your mind, every decision for you to make decisions. He gave you the options for the decisions for them to happen. This is how he was made. And it talks in the Bible about, it talks about the Bible when it says we were made in his image. Well, if we were made in God's image, and he created everything, that means he created angels, everything. He created everything. If he created everything, that means he created the devil. The devil was the son too, because he created him. That also means if he created him, he had the knowledge to be not just light, but evil as well. But the difference is he is balanced because he's the creator. But he has all things that we have as far as feelings is concerned. Like he gets angry, he gets mad, he gets sad, he gets frustrated. He knows about love, he knows about togetherness, all of that. When I was growing up, I was told from my relatives that the only good part, the only thing that God is the good part. No, that's not true. God is everything. God created everything. That also means that God gets upset to the point to where he does bad things as well. Don't you think so? Come on, the great flood. God did that. The devil didn't do the great flood. God did that. But you got these narrow-minded people where they brought up to believe that the only thing about God has to be they pretty much put God in a little box. Like what people try to do with me most of my life. Actually, they try to put me in a little box. As a kid, I wanted to speak up. I wanted to say things. But I was always, shh, don't say that. That's not good. Don't say that. But I'm saying it today. I'm saying that I am going to be the person that tried and actually it worked to change this world. I'm starting a movement today. Here we go. Yeah, and I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash from all the religions who feel like I am saying everything wrong right now, because what's about to happen is the Love is the Only Ministry is from God is love. Pretty much, because God is love. But God is everything as well. But God is love. But the reason why God is love is because he cares. And he hates at the same time. The way life was, they got so many rules in this world, and a lot of these rules are so wrong and made off of trying to restrict the person down to no return so they could alleviate the ones that aren't going with the territory. And then it talks about in history where there were the people that fought against that and they called them rebellions. Well, I guess I'm a rebellion then, because I'm part of that. I don't believe what religion's been teaching you. They're not true. Because what I got from God and what a lot of people got from God as far as following the religion way, most of those people have ended up being more empty than anything. And what I've learned and experienced with God has been a blessing with me to know that God is taking care of me no matter what, that he puts protection around me because I am truly following him the right way. And you want to know what the right way was? Well, it's simple. It's very, very simple. The ones that the religions talk about, where they said that, oh, you have to do this, be without sin, because Jesus is the one. Okay. Yeah. No. They took Jesus' story and they changed it to use them as power for them. That's the truth too. Yeah, they did. And they make him out a lot of times to look like a wimp when he's not. And if you also notice in the New Testament, which was never found for before the King James Version, they have the scriptures of Jesus, and they don't really talk about the backside of him, just a little bit part of him growing up or whatever, little couple things that happened during the time of him going around the world talking about things, doctrines, or everything that supposedly been said at the time, allegedly said. They never talk about, what happens in his lone life. But I'm not going to get into that because that's not for me to talk about. What I want to tell you is that by them doing that, taking out his life, period, and just talking about pretty much his speakings, they hid that information for a reason, don't you think? Because I just told you a little bit ago that I am God's child, one of them. So, if I am God's child, what does that mean? I was born and raised in heaven. I became a warrior of God because that's what angels do. They're messengers and they're warriors of God. And that's what I am. But when the spiritual hits the flesh, it is a mind-blowing thing for an angel. You feel everything that you have never felt before, because when you're in heaven, you're like created a certain way to be, your purpose is just a certain way. But when you go and you come down and you help God correct wrongs in other places that he need to be corrected, things you learn, experiences, you experiences happen, to where you feel everything. You feel the whole experience. I mean, you don't just feel one part of it. You're the whole body. I mean, I was reincarnated into a human so many times. Why do you think I jumped in my last body, this earth, and my last life was already completed from my last life? But I came back because somebody had to feel that life, right? If you're chosen to do it, you're just chosen to do it. And the life that I chose was the last life and the hardest life that nobody wanted, and I chose it. So here I am right now saying I am the person, or the first person, who actually is there enough to defend God in a way that he's never been defended before. And to let everybody know who wants to help me defend him the right way are so welcome to come and help me. Because I'm going to get a lot of backlash. But there are other people out there who understands me and is going through the same thing that I'm going through, as far as how people perceive them and how they talk against them and how they bully them and how they try to make sure they don't get nowhere in life because of the power trying to control the people. God never wanted that to happen. God never wanted people to be over other people. He wanted parents to raise their kids. But they took that into a whole nother category. You got church people out there, pastors, whatever, who try to tell people how to belittle themselves, how to say and say that if you don't believe every word in the Bible, then all of a sudden you don't believe in God. Now that is the biggest lie I ever heard of. For one, because of the fact that this Bible has been translated too many times. And then they come up with this impossible way in order for God to love you, which is not true as well. They say, oh, you gotta, whatever feels good to you, don't do it. Take that out of the equation. Because whatever feels good is what the devil put in your life. It's what the devil says They give the devil so much credit when the devil has no power. He has no power. He got one little power. One. When he was cast off from heaven down here, he had one little power. Yes, just one. All the things he could do before, stripped, slayed. Because that's what happens when you fall from grace. God doesn't give you something to do well after treating him wrong. He lets you pay. And so for years and centuries or whatever, the devil has been down here. The only one little power that God decided to let him keep, was one little power. And which power is that? Disillusionment. So these religions may have been thought to be right in their own little way, are all in disillusionment from the devil. It's not the way God truly wants you to be. He don't want you to have fear in him. Because that's one of the biggest things they say to try to put down your throat. You gotta have fear in God or he's gonna strike you down. You gotta, like I said, dancing, eating well. like if you wanted shellfish, oh my gosh, bacon, pork, there you go. You have any of that? Oh no, that is not of God. That is of the devil. You want to hear a little secret? There's nothing of the devil. That's right. There is nothing of the devil, only but disillusionment, because that's only the devil can do. He can only take whatever's in life and imagine a picture that tricks you. And that's what a disillusionment. And he's the master of it because that's the only power he ever had. No, that's not true, because when he was in heaven, he had a lot more powers. But now, since he fell from heaven, and everybody that followed him after, all he could do is put a picture up and say, this is this, make you believe something that you're not. And you would believe it, and because you could believe it, you will manifest it, and it will make it be bad, because that's what disillusionment is. So you have the power in yourself to bring good things and bad things to your life. You don't have to be perfect in order to follow God. All you need is to love God just a little bit. You don't need to go to church to follow a script that makes you feel ill inside, knowing you hating the songs you may be singing. And then you feel when you pray in the church at that time, it feels ill, actually. It feels very like it's forced. God doesn't want your love to be forced to love him. But that's what churches do. That's how they raise you. That's what they try to make you believe, that this is what you have to go through. That you have to be on this impossible way to be with God. Okay, well, you may talk about the lunatics that have killed people. Well, God takes care of those people too. Now, that's different. That is a different story. But I don't judge anyone. And I've told you this before. And I don't lie. So what I'm telling you is the truth. You may believe me or you may think I'm crazy. But you see, I'm very grounded right now. I'm not going mental. I never have been mental to way some person wanted me to believe. That was a disillusion as well that was put on my life to stop me from coming into my purpose. I'm not crazy. I'm just as intelligent as ever. I just don't show it that much because why should I? People want to know me, get to know me. What I am is a warrior of God, and I have been that person or that being for centuries in all my lives that I've lived. And I've always been gifted. And the last time I died was because of my gifts. I know that to be the truth. But this life is accepted. Finally, after so many lives I lived. This time, whatever gifts I have occurred through the years is actually accepted. It's actually okay. It's okay to use now. I don't have to hide them if I don't want to. Because in this life, it's okay. So, in order for you to love God, you have to want to love God. And, and don't do bad stuff. and the bad stuff is like, don't steal, kill, destroy, lie. I don't lie. I used to lie. I've said that before. I used to lie. And it used to get very messy. So I don't lie no more. I say everything true. And when a person be like, you don't do that. Yes, I do. You ask me a question, be careful what you say. Because I will tell you the complete truth. I won't sugarcoat anything. I'm very blunt a lot of times. But I'm still compassionate and humble at times as well. Because after all the stuff I've been through growing up in this life, I still, to this day, love God without a shadow of a doubt, 100%, 400%, lifetime of faith, knowing that God got me the whole time. Even when I may curse, I may get mad, I may want to tear you up. But I never do. I just give it to God and I have Him take care of it. People that have treated me bad all this time in my life growing up, I gave it all to God. I surrendered it all to Him. I surrendered it all. That's why I'm doing well. That's why I'm still living. That's why I'm able to still go on and still live my life the way I want. Not what that church person wants. Because I follow God completely in my heart. And I know that He got me no matter what happens in my life. No matter when I do something wrong. No matter when I do something right or in between. I know that God got me. And I'm asking you today, does God truly got you? Does He truly got you? Because if He does, you will feel like me. And if you feel like me, you want to be around me. Because all I want is for heaven to come back the right way. So that's what I do. I spread joy. I don't put people down anymore. I lift people up. When I see somebody that God tells me to say something to, I do it. I'm not a procrastinator of God. I'm not. I am his warrior here to put something that has been wrong for several centuries right. I am here to bring God back the way he truly wants it to be, not the way people in power, feel like in power, think it should be. And I'm calling out to anybody who wants to join me. loveistheonlywayministry.com. My email, all of it is down in the description below. If you want to help donate for this new movement to bring God back who he truly actually is before King James Version ever happened. I'm ready for you to let me know. I want to know. Let me know. And we will start this journey all together. And we will tell everybody about him, how he truly, really wants us to be. And not the way that power that be wants. And not the way the powers that be thinks it should be. So if you're ready to help, let me know. I'm ready to hear it. Until next time, you guys have a good year. Bye.